Good morning, student. Today we will start the digestive system of Scoliodon. Digestive system of Scoliodon. Digestive system, or it is called as alimentary canal. Digestive system. The digestive system of Scoliodon can be described under the following heads, that is alimentary canal, glands of alimentary canal, and physiology of digestion. Physiology of digestion. In digestive system, at the anterior side, mouth, teeth, tongue, eye, head, pharynx, esophagus, below the pharynx, esophagus, esophageal valve, cardiac stomach, pancreas, pyloric stomach, bile duct, bursa, intina, intestine, snout, external nares, flora of buccal cavity, 1 to 5 internal gills also present, pouches, esophagus, mucous membrane, gallbladder, liver, sphincter wall, blind sac, rectal glands, rectum, opening of rectal glands, cloaca, opening of rectum, opening of uterus, urinary papilla. Scoliodon digestive system. This is the internal structure of digestive system. All these parts, organs present in the digestive system. Alimentary canal. The alimentary canal of Scoliodon comprises the mouth, buccal cavity, pharynx, esophagus, stomach, intestine, and rectum. The alimentary canal of Scoliodon comprises the mouth, buccal cavity, pharynx, esophagus, stomach, intestine, and rectum. The mouth is a ventral crescentic opening which leads into spacious dorsoventrally compressed buccal cavity. The buccal cavity is lined with a thick mucous membrane raised ventrally into the thick fold to form the so-called tongue, which is non-muscular and non-glandular. The mucous membrane is rough. Pyloric stomach, bursa, intina, bile duct, pyloric wall, intestinal wall, opening of bile duct, intra-intestinal artery, scroll valve in Ts, scroll valve in ileus, rectal opening of rectal glands, urinary papilla, opening of uterus, rectal glands, mucous membrane of the scrollal wall, lumen, intestine, intestinal wall, pyloric wall, and pyloric stomach, ventral lobe, pancreas, pyloric end of stomach, blood vessels, spiral wall, small intestine, large intestine. That is the spiral wall in the small intestine. Spiral wall in the small intestine wall. Due to the presence of dermal denticles, the teeth are oblique and have sharp, more or less compressed crusts, the edges of which are smooth and non-serrated. The teeth are all alike in sharp homodont and are borne in several parallel rows on the inner margins of the upper and lower jaws. The teeth are used to catch the prey and prevent its escape, but not to crush or masticate it. Thought there are several rows of teeth, yet only one row functions at a time, and the old row is replaced the new one. There are no glands in the buccal cavity comparable to the salivary glands of high vertebrates. The buccal cavity opens into the pharynx, on either side of which lie the intestinal opening, the spiral and 5 gills products pouches. The spiracles is vestigial, represented by an inconspicuous oval, and the gill pouches are large. The cavity of pharynx is lined with mucous membrane, continuous numerous dermal denticles. The pharynx narrows posteriorly to form the short esophagus. The esophagus has thick muscular walls with an internal lining of mucous membrane raised into longitudinal folds. The esophagus widens posteriorly to form the large muscular stomach. The stomach is bent on its end form a J-shaped organ, the long proximal line of which is called the cardiac stomach arc, while the short distal line is called the pyloric stomach. At the junction of cardiac and pyloric lines, there is blind outgrowth, the blind sac. The inner mucous lining of the cardiac stomach is also thrown into prominent longitudinal folds that end in the depression of the blind sac. The lining of the pyloric stomach is quite smooth proximately but slightly folds distally at the end of pyloric stomach. There is muscular bursa intenna. The opening of pyloric stomach into the bursa intenna is guarded by a circular bands of muscle fibers called the pyloric wall. The bursa intenna continues into the intestine. The intestine is a wide tube running straight backwards into the abdominal cavity and opening posteriorly into the rectum. The internal surface of the intestine is increased by a characteristic folds of the mucous membrane, the scroll wall having one edge attached to the inner wall of the intestine and the other rolled up the longitudinally of itself into a scroll, making an anti-clockwise spiral of about 2.5 turns in the transverse section. The scroll wall looks like watch spring. The scroll wall serves not only to increase the extent of the absorptive surface of the intestine but also prevent the rapid flow of food through the intestine. The rectum is the last of the alimentary canal. The tubular rectal glands opens dorsally into the rectum. The rectum leads into the cloaca, in which the alimentary canal as well as the urinogenital system, genital ducts opens. Glands of the alimentary canal. The glands of alimentary canal or digestive glands are liver, pancreas and rectal glands. The liver is an elongated yellowish gland consists of two lobes which extends back along the greater part of the abdominal cavity. The two lobes are united anteriorly but remain apart posteriorly. The right lobe of the liver carries a V-shaped thin wall sac, the gallbladder, which stores the bile secreted by the liver. The gallbladder communicates with the intestine through bile duct. In a full-grown specimen, the bile duct is about 3 cm long. The liver produces bile, stores glycogen and fat. It also destroys worm out red blood corpuscles since Kupffer cells are present. The pancreas is compact bilobed gland situated in the angle between the cardiac and pyloric stomach. The pancreatic duct opens into the intestine just opposite to the opening of the bile duct. The rectal gland is a short, thick diverticulum arises from the dorsal wall of the rectum. It discharges a fluid into the intestinal lumen, but the physiological effects of the fluid is unknown. Physiology of digestion. Scoliodon is carnivorous and feeds mainly on other fishes, but the diet may also include rock lobster and spider crabs. The teeth of Scoliodon only prevents the escape of prey from the mouth and do not perform the functions of the mastication. Probably the teeth may be used for the tearing the food since there are no salivary glands. Since there is no salivary glands in the mouth, there is no digestive in the buccal cavity. The digestion in the buccal cavity. The wall of the pharynx possesses numerous mucous glands. The secretion of these glands has no digestive functions but simply helps in the passage of food. The esophagus also has no digestion function. The digestion starts only in the cardiac stomach. The mucous membrane of cardiac stomach secreted gastric juice, which contains pepsin and hydrochloric acid. The converts proteins into proteases and peptones. The gastric juices is not able to digest chitin. The pyloric stomach and crawl wall have no digestive activity of their own, but they activate the pancreas. The pancreas secreted trypsin, amylopsin and lipase. As the semi-digested food enters the intestine, it is acted upon by the bile and the pancreatic juice. The bile makes the food alkaline and thus helps the action of pancreatic juice. The trypsin acts on the remaining proteins. The amylopsin converts starch into sugar and lipase turns fats into fatty acids. The digested food is absorbed into the blood over the extensive surfaces of the intestine and scroll wall. This is the digestive system of Scoliodon. Okay, thank you.